Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. It is the instant match reaction. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2 at Villa Park this evening. Everton cruise into the fourth round of the Carabao Cup with an away win against another side that a lot of people would deem as a really good Premier League team, a team in Europe this season, a team who have had a fantastic home record over the course of the last year or so since Unai Emery has been in charge, and Everton have turned up and just comfortably won the game of football, a little bit like we did in London on Saturday. And I'm not quite sure how to feel about this. Not only have Everton won 2 games on the bounce, but Everton have won 2 away games on the bounce. 2 away games against 2 sides that I'm pretty sure the majority of us would have said they don't fancy us beating before these games. So what a fantastic win that was tonight. Another absolutely brilliant performance by Everton. And we put out a relatively strong team. The manager put out a relatively strong team, of course. Jack Harrison getting his first start for the football club. And, of course, had Dominic Calvert-Lewin in there back up front. Onel Danjuma in there. 5 at the back this time with a 2-man midfield of James Garner and Amadou Onana. And it was pretty clear from the off that Sean Dyche wanted to go and win this game of football and wanted to, go out there and put in a good performance and keep the confidence up and keep the momentum from that win at Brentford. And we sat here in the preview and we spoke about how difficult this game would be and how, it's come at a particularly bad time, because if we were to lose tonight, then the confidence would have been a bit shook going into that game against Luton on Saturday. But we've turned up and we've won, and now we're going into that game against Luton on Saturday absolutely through the roof in terms of confidence. So, listen, it was another fantastic performance. Villa had a relatively strong side out as well. Certainly a strong team come the end of the game when they'd made a couple of changes. I think they brought Dean on, brought Ollie Watkins on as well. But Everton started the game absolutely brilliantly. Once again, a little bit like we did against Brentford. We get a goal, we go 1-0 up. James Garner with an absolutely fantastic strike, a little bit of bobbling about. And this is what I mean when I say I want to see more from Amadou Onana. That is what he is capable of, and we don't see that anywhere near as much as we should. Amadou Onana is a fantastic footballer. Let's have it right. I'm not saying he's been fantastic for Everton, and I'm not saying tonight means that all of a sudden he's absolutely unbelievable. But let's get it right. Amadou Onana as a footballer is a fantastic player. He's got all the attributes to be a top midfielder. And that is what I want to see more of. That ball is completely bobbling around. Nobody's really in control of it. He takes it down. He plays a world-class pass into James Garner. The finish by James Garner is absolutely wonderful as well. And Everton all of a sudden are 1-0 up. And you're thinking, well, can we do what we did against Brentford here? Can we just calm the game down? Can we just control the game in the middle of the park and not allow Aston Villa to get back into it? Not allow Aston Villa to equalise in a silly manner, after 5 or 10 minutes? Can we keep the lead and can we keep it calm? And that's exactly what we did. And huge credit has to go out to the manager once again. Listen, I've sat here and I've criticised the manager before, and I'll hold my hands up when, he's done something right ultimately. I'm not the type of person to hold a personal grudge or to have a personal opinion about somebody and then, ultimately not say what is the truth when maybe your opinion is challenged. And my opinion of Sean Dyche prior to this week was that, he's ultimately we haven't been good enough. We're not winning games of football. His style of play has been particularly poor, and I thought the manager was under a lot of pressure going into Brentford. We beat Brentford. It was a fantastic result. He got it absolutely spot on tactically. He got it absolutely spot on with his team selection. And we've turned up tonight, and once again, he's got it absolutely spot on tactically. The team selection was good. It was a strong enough side to go out and put a performance in. And we've turned what 5 weeks ago was an absolute embarrassment of a performance at Villa Park. And I know, again, I said it yesterday in the preview, different circumstances. It's a cup game. Players, will have been rotated, etc., etc. But we've turned what was an absolute disgraceful, embarrassing performance at Villa Park less than 3 months ago into a really professional, hard-fought, battling, deserved win today. Everton absolutely deserved that win today. Aston Villa weren't in the game at all until the final 10 minutes. They scored a goal which is deflected off of Michael Keane's leg. Absolutely nothing he can do about it. And then, of course, going into the final 10 minutes of the game, they had a little bit of pressure. They started to put their foot on the gas a little bit. And that's to be expected. If you're losing 2-0 at home and you manage to get a bit of a lucky goal, then you're going to have a bit of a push towards the end of the game. But I thought Everton managed that push really, really well. Jordan Pickford had very little to do in the first half. He barely put himself on the floor. He must have been able to go in at the changing rooms at half time, and he mustn't have even needed to sit down. He'd have just come straight back up. His kit didn't need looking at, nothing. He'd done nothing in the entirety of the first half. Done a little bit more in the second half, made a couple of good saves. Good save from Diaby at one point, couple of good saves from Diaby in fact. But like I said, we went 1-0 up and we just were in complete control of the game. The 5 at the back worked. Now, I'm not saying it works generally, and I'm not saying we should go with a 5 at the back every single week now, because, again, the question marks are still out about Michael Keane for me. But it worked tonight. The 2-man midfield, as I said before, not only the assist by Amadou Onana today, which was absolutely outstanding, I thought his general play today was so good. We spoke on on Saturday about how that Brentford game might well be Amadou Onana's best performance in an Everton shirt. I think tonight was Amadou Onana's best performance in an Everton shirt. He was absolutely everywhere. The assist is absolutely fantastic, as we've mentioned, but his overall play, other than that, is just phenomenal today. He was everywhere. He was throwing challenges in. Every time the ball was in the middle of the park, he was controlling it. And that has been the difference in the last 2 games. We've beaten a Brentford team who have got an unbelievable home record, and we've beaten them at their place. And we've beaten an Aston Villa team who've got an unbelievable home record, and we've beaten them at their place. And the big difference between those 2 games and the games, previous to them, whether it's your Wolves at home, your Fulham at home, your Villa away in the league, even Sheffield United away to a degree, even though we got a point, our midfield hasn't controlled any of those games at all. I've spoken about it on the channel numerous times about the 3 of them just not working as a midfield 3. Whereas in the last 2 games, the midfield have been in complete control of the game. Against Brentford, we were in complete control, and tonight we were in complete control again. Amadou Onana and James Garner were phenomenal. The pair of them were absolutely phenomenal today. I thought Jack Harrison was fantastic in that first half as well. Tired in the second half, which is to be expected. Obviously, he's not played virtually any football in the last few months. But I thought he was fantastic in that first half. The press as well. There was very clearly an instruction to get at Aston Villa. Anytime they had the ball from a goal kick, anytime they had an opportunity to play out from the back, the overall message from the manager very clearly was get at them, put pressure on them, and don't give them any time to think. And we did it, and we created, multiple opportunities for ourselves. We were 1-0 up in the first half, comfortable cruising. We probably should have been 2-0 up. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a brilliant ball's played into him by Jack Harrison, and he gets, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He takes a shot, it's saved, and then his other shot is into the side net. But realistically, he should do a little bit better in that situation. He obviously rectified it in the second half with a fantastic bit of play and a fantastic finish. But again, Aston Villa were nowhere in the game. Absolutely nowhere in the game in that first half. And we spoke about the Brentford game, and I mentioned a couple of times about how Brentford were really, really poor on that day. And again, I wasn't taking anything away from our performance. I was just saying it was a really, really poor performance from Brentford. Today, very similarly, I thought it was a really, really poor performance from Aston Villa. But the reality of the situation is, firstly, I'm not asked. Everton have won the game, so I don't care. If Everton now go and win every single one of their remaining games in the season, and everybody goes, yeah, but the opposition team were poor, I don't care. I couldn't give a shit. Everton have won. I'm not asked. But more importantly, are these teams underperforming because Everton aren't allowing them to perform in the way that they want to? And I know it's only been 2 games, and I know this is a cup game, so it doesn't do anything for us in the league. I get that, and I get people who say, oh, don't get too ahead of yourself, blah, blah, blah. My original point remains the same. The next 2 home games in the Premier League are vital, and Everton have shown today, and Everton have shown on Saturday, that they are more than capable of beating a Luton team that look absolutely horrendous, and more than capable of beating a Bournemouth team at Goodison Park as well. But I do think there's an argument to be had that Aston Villa couldn't play the way they wanted to play today, and Brentford couldn't play the way they wanted to play on Saturday because Everton stopped them from doing so. Look, Villa are a really, really good team, and a really, really good team at home. And in that first half, they barely had anything of the ball, but Everton looked so comfortable. There wasn't a moment when we went 1-0 up where it looked like we were panicking, or it looked like we were a bit worried, or it looked like the pressure was getting to us. We were just continuing to play. Onana was brilliant. Garner, as I said, the back line was solid as ever. Branthwaite, absolutely fantastic. I thought Patterson had his best game in an Everton shirt for a long, long time. I thought Mikalenko was relatively solid as well. And the forward line were getting in the right areas. Dom was getting in the right areas, even though, you know, his finishing in that first half wasn't brilliant. Harrison was getting in the right areas. Dwight McNeil was getting in the right areas as well. It was just a really, really, really good performance, and a really, really dominant performance up until, like I said, those last 10 minutes when it was a little bit cagey. We come out in the second half and Dom makes it 2-0 virtually, 6 minutes into the second half. Brilliant turn just near the halfway line. Gets one-on-one with the keeper. And look, there's a lot to be said about that type of goal, and a lot of people are looking at it and go, well, you expect him to score that, he's a Premier League striker, every Premier League striker could score that, but we know, ourselves, it's not as easy as just saying, every Premier League striker will score every one-on-one they ever get. Dom showed in the first half he had a one-on-one and he missed it and he hit the goalkeeper, and it was a big opportunity and it was a big moment and he put it away. It was a brilliant goal. His record in the Carabao Cup is absolutely unbelievable, by the way. I think that's like his 11th goal in 9 games or something in the Carabao Cup. It's magnificent. But, we go 2-0 up and again, no real pressure, no real sort of reaction from Aston Villa, no sort of collapse by Everton, no sort of capitulation. It was all just comfortable. It was comfortable. And if we were playing a League 2 side here, I'd be sitting here going, do you know what, it was a good performance, but we expect that. We were playing a very, very good Aston Villa team. Not many teams will go to Villa Park this year, whether it be in the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and be able to put a performance in like that. And we were just completely in control, and it baffles you, doesn't it? Because what's the difference between this team tonight and the team that, couldn't go and do that against Sheffield United? I can't help but feel that if Everton were to perform the way they did tonight and the way they did against Brentford, against Sheffield United, we'd have probably won that game 800-0, because Sheffield United are that bad. But we looked, worried, we looked scared, we looked a little bit dubious when we went 1-0 up in that Sheffield United game, and we were panicking and we were making silly decisions and we weren't doing anything correct, and then they got back into the game. Tonight, we scored and we just kept it calm. We just kept doing what we were doing. We scored the second, we kept doing what we were doing, and as I said, Aston Villa were not in the game at all until they got a fluky deflected goal in the last 10 minutes, and then they had a little bit of pressure, but Everton dealt with that pressure really, really well as well. There was no panic, there was no massive, as Evertonians, I'm sure we all sat there when that goal went in the 84th minute and just thought, oh my God, this is going to be one of them, isn't it, where we lose 3-2 and we're all scratching our heads about how that's happened. But it wasn't. We just got our heads down, sort of worked hard and thought, no, do you know what? These have been terrible today, so we're not even letting them back in it. And we just cruised the game out. We were calm, we were cool, and we just saw the game out in that last 10 minutes. And it was a truly professional performance that tonight, and that's not something we've been able to say about Everton an awful lot in recent times. I still can't get over the fact that Everton have just won 2 away games on the spin, by the way. 2 away games on the bounce against 2 really good teams with 2 really good home records. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get where these types of performances can come from, and why can't we just do that every single week? If we perform like that against Luton, we'll comfortably beat them on Saturday. No disrespect to Luton, but we'll comfortably beat them. Same with Bournemouth the week after. And if we do that, then all of a sudden we're sitting there going into the next international break. 4 wins out of 4 since the last international. Well, 4 wins out of 5 since the last international break, disregarding the Arsenal game. Win at Brentford, a win at Villa. 2 games that not many of us would have expected Everton to turn up and win at. And it was a truly, truly fantastic performance. One thing I do want to say before I move on is, to the broadcasters of football around the UK, you are all absolute gobshites. Absolute gobshites. Why is it that I can't watch my football team play a game of football on a Wednesday night 2 hours away from my house, but if I'm in South Africa or Canada or anywhere else in the world, I can watch them play? Why? Explain that to me. Why can't I pay £20 a year to watch every single Everton game on the television? Every single Everton. I'll still have my season ticket. I'll still go to the game. I'll still go to as many aways. But I would happily pay, not even £20 a year, I'd happily pay £20 a month to know that I can watch every Everton game whether I can make it or I can't make it. And the fact that that isn't in place yet just shows the interests of these broadcasting companies and these people that make the decisions in that field. Greedy, money-grabbing bastards, every single one of them. Is it a disgrace? You're not asked about football or football fans. I'm an Everton fan. Why can't I watch my team play on a Tuesday? I'm not saying I want to watch it for free or a Wednesday. I'll pay you. But it's an absolute disgrace, and they all need their heads testing. They really, really do, because it's an absolute disgrace. Anyway, I'm not even going to let that ruin me night, because Everton have just won another game of footy away from home. Oh my God. Yeah, a truly fantastic performance. Massive credit to the manager. The way he set up today was a little bit unusual to how we've set up in recent weeks. 5 at the back. Obviously the two-man midfield. We've not seen that ever. We've certainly not seen it this season. We've seen it before, but certainly not this season. And Dice tried it out today, and it worked. And whatever he said to them in the dressing room beforehand and at half time, again, it's worked an absolute treat. Because, and I will give credit to Sean Dyche, and I think the biggest bit of credit I can give him is, I don't think that performance against Arsenal and that performance against Brentford was, I don't think they were that polar opposite just on the basis of luck, or just on the basis of, the players have turned up and decided, we're going to play footy today. I don't believe that. I believe the managers sat down with them. I believe the managers had conversations with players. I believe the managers' team talks have changed, or tactics have changed. Something has changed from the manager that is getting these performances out of those players. It's not a case of they've just turned up and all of a sudden they can win a game of football and they can comfortably beat, a really good side like Aston Villa away from home. That's not the case. That is down to the manager, in my opinion, and the manager deserves a lot of credit for that. 2 massive home games coming up in the Premier League. If we can win them, then what an absolutely fantastic few weeks it's been to be an Evertonian. But what a fantastic 5 days. It's been 2 away wins. Who'd have thought today? Who'd have thought it? Anyway, we're going to leave it there. As I said, for me, Jack Harrison, I thought he was excellent. Onana was excellent. James Garner was excellent. Thought Dom done well and got his goal, of course. Thought the defence was solid. Yeah, just another really, really good performance. So there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We will be back with the player ratings very shortly. Up the front toffees, and we'll see you later. Nice one.